Hi everyone, this is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe, and I am live here to take your immigration questions. So if you are going through the process, you're thinking about going through the process, then go ahead and put your questions in the comments right now. I am here for you. You are my priority. Your questions are my priority. So as soon as you think of your question, drop it in the comments and then I will go ahead and answer. Hi there, Chef OGB. It's nice to see you. Hi, Delia. It's nice to see you. Thanks for saying hi. Go ahead, put your questions in the comments because I am here to take your immigration questions. I am here every single day. With very few exceptions to answer your questions around this time. I enjoy taking your questions. Hi there, Christina Martinez and Patman. Thank you for saying hi. Heavenly Ice Angel, it's nice to see you here again. Stocky 95, hola. Biggie 49, can you advise about a visa? Absolutely, I do advise about visas. You can ask a question here, but if it's going to require a lot of detailed analysis, then you'll have to schedule a consultation. But I am here to answer your immigration questions. So feel free, drop any question that you would like to drop right now. And then, hi there, Jamaican Bro God. It's nice to see you. So, hi there, Rita Prasad. Hey. As a formal introduction, for those of you who don't know me, I am a U.S. immigration attorney and I help clients to get their green card and their status in the United States. So my mom didn't get a return date to go home. I need her to stay longer because of the pandemic back. So even though she didn't get a return date in her passport, there is what's called the I-94 where there will definitely be a return date. So home which are getting worse, what do I need to keep her? So what you'll need to do is, first of all, check the I-94 and see when the return date is. You'll need to apply for an extension of that visitor's visa. So that is the first thing. You have to know what the date is to go back. Make sure that you haven't overstayed, because if you've overstayed, then you lose the chance to apply for the extension. So it's very important that you submit that extension ASAP. So Chef OGB, she didn't get that. Still go now. If she didn't get a return date, now usually individuals can't stay here. So if they have a visitor's visa, they're not supposed to stay here for an endless amount of time, even if the officer didn't put a return date. So it's very important to understand that. In your case, since you cannot find a return date, it's very important. Schedule a consultation and get help with that application. So she didn't get an I-94, but there is a way to obtain the I-94, to order the I-94, because I can guarantee it's on that I-94. Now, if it's not posted online, then you'll have to order it from the CBP. So definitely go ahead, and that's a Customs, Border and Protection. Go ahead, call me, schedule a consultation, and then we can talk more about that. I just need to get more of your information. But it's very important that you get that return date and then apply for an extension. Once you submit the extension, then she can wait here as long as it takes for not as long as she takes, but she can stay here even while that application is pending up to a certain amount of time. So even that can't go on and on forever. So keep in mind, though, the important thing here is she cannot stay here endlessly, even if the officer didn't give a return date. So Barbie Doll 123, hi. So I overstay my visitor's visa. Is it possible if I can get married to a green card holder? So yes, that is a possibility. Green card holders can apply for their spouse, but keep in mind that you will likely not be able to apply for the green card here. You'll have to take extra steps, and what extra steps to apply for forgiveness and then finish the green card process in your home country if you get approved for that forgiveness. Barbie doll 1234. Schedule a consultation and let's talk more about that option. Heavenly Ice Angel, the Biden administration has granted humanitarian protection for Haitians. Do you know if he's doing so? Yes, that is a good news. I'm gonna say for other nations. So I believe I saw for Burma as well. But there are no other new countries. There's Venezuela, Haiti are the newest ones, and I believe I saw Burma today. I'll have to verify. But that is the good news for those of you who are here. If you know an Haitian, someone who is Haitian, who is currently here in the United States and has been here as of May 21st, 2021, they have been given the ability to apply for what's called temporary protected status, and that would allow them to apply for a work permit, for an SSN, and to be able to be protected from deportation for the next 18 months. And this type of temporary protected status is often renewed and extended by the government. Unfortunately, I know the Bahamas, for example, I have met a lot of Bahamians that have been in dire straits as a result of the hurricane that hit, and some have not gone back. And I would wish, for example, them to get the temporary protected status, but we haven't received any news of that. So right now it's Haiti, Venezuela are the newest countries, and I believe Burma. So if you would like to apply for TPS, go ahead, call, schedule a consult, and let's talk about how you qualify. Stocky 95, does applying for an extension risk you losing your visa the next time you travel? Actually, Stocky 95 is the best thing you could do. It actually can help you to keep your visa, but you would not be able to apply for an extension and get an approval if you've already overstayed the time. So it's important to get the extension in on time so that it doesn't affect your ability to keep your visa. Herbalant, so hang tight everyone as I go through the questions very quickly. So it's Herbalant. My fiance has a green card. Can he send for me and 2 kids on the kids? So no, green card holders can't apply for fiancés. You'll have to get married first. If I have petitioned before for someone and remarry, can I petition for no fiancé? It is possible. However, it just depends on the facts involved. How soon after you petition for the first person did you remarry? So for example, if you remarry within 5 years of the first person that you petition for their green card, is going to be subject to a heightened scrutiny. That means that you're going to have to show clear and convincing evidence that the current marriage is real, plus you also have to show evidence that your previous marriage was also real. So definitely you would be subject to a lot more suspicion and scrutiny, and you'd have to be prepared for that. Geba, how long does it take to get a work permit? I've been waiting for 5 months now. Unfortunately, it's taking about 6 to 8 months. Joseph Peter, hey there, I see the Haitian flag, so you must be Haitian. So good news. If this will benefit you or a family member, spread the word. What about asylum? What news we have for the ones who's still waiting for an interview in person? So unfortunately, there's no news really. With asylum, they have taken away some of the biometrics requirements that hinder the process. But other than that, it's pretty much the same. You'll have to wait it out and make sure you keep up on your case. Make sure you're current on your case so that, when the time comes for the interview, you don't risk any denials if anything is due. Kimber Gons 95. If I have petitioned for someone and remarry, can I petition for my now fiance? So I answered that question. Branch Beauty Lux, thanks for sharing the live. Barbie doll, okay, I will, and I am looking forward to that. Sandeep 3825. After you respond to RFE case, going back to same officer. After you respond to RFE case, so yes, at times it will go back to the same officer who submitted the sent you the RFE. The Thea Tapin, how long does it take for an I-130 to be approved for a legal permanent resident child under 21? So the child of a legal permanent resident, I would say about a year. But keep in mind that all of these are estimates. You can go to the uscis.gov, look at the service center that currently has your case, and then look up the form I-130 and you'll see the time that they're taking right now. Herbelent, do you only look after U.S. immigration? What about Canadian? So only U.S. immigration. Sandeep 3825, does it go to the same officer? So generally, yes. I mean, there's no guarantee that it will. However, generally, yes. Tiffany Jones, can you still travel within the U.S. with your foreign passport if your time in the country has expired? So right now, yes, you're able to. Biggie 49, when you finish your live, could you check your messages from Biggie 49? So Biggie, what you will usually get is a message from me because I don't provide legal advice through messages. So the best thing you can do is go ahead and call the office or go to the website. My website, the link is in my bio. Complete a web form and we will contact you, or you can call and then they'll take your information and then the scheduling coordinator will call you back to schedule a consultation. User 1158, do you think they are giving visas from Guyana to the US? So it depends what you can do. Each embassy is different just based on what's going on with COVID and the different countries. Go to visit what you can do is Google the US Embassy in Guyana, visit their official website, and you'll get updates on what's going on right now. Melinda Lorena, how long is the process for citizenship? So I just finished with one of my cases and it was 2.5 months long. However, that's an extremely rare situation. So my cases have gone between 2 to 6 months. However, keep in mind that the results that I get is not necessarily an indication that you'll get the same. And so they could range from the average 6 months to a year. Amnam Mariam. I applied U visa in 2018 March. How long will it take? So right now the U visas are taking, there's a 10-year wait list, and it all depends at the time how long, where you were on the wait list in 2018. However, it may take a year to a year and a half to be able to get a work permit. Shanoya 6, what if the USCIS processing timeline has passed? So in that case, I would check up on the case, call the USCIS, check up on the case, make sure that there is nothing that, the time that they have put is not a guarantee that yours will be within that range. However, if it's past that time, then you can put in an inquiry and see if there is anything that can be done. When my mom applied for me, I didn't have a child. Do you think they will add him to my application? So if it depends on where you are in the process. So you may be able to update your application to include your children. But it depends. If you've already gone through the process, then already gotten your green card and your child wasn't on it, then it would be too late at that point. However, Asha, I don't know your facts. I don't know what the circumstances are. So schedule a consultation. Always get legal advice. That's why I don't like to tell you definitively, oh, that's not going to work or that's going to work. Marta, hey, is it faster to apply for my siblings since I am a citizen or my mom who holds a green card? So if your siblings are unmarried and over 21, then it's going to be about 5 to 6 years right now. Definitely would be faster through your green card holder, mom. Dan Me, hello, when they can still file for the TPS for Haiti? So they haven't opened up the application yet, where I am keeping an eye on it, and as soon as it opens up, then I will definitely let you know if you continue to follow me and tune in. You can also go to uscis.gov, where they also announce when they've opened up their application. How do you apply for an extension? So while I don't get into specific forms, Stocky 95 here, because I don't want you to go and complete a form if you don't qualify, if you haven't gotten legal advice. However, there is a specific form for an extension of your status. User 1158, how long does it take for my sister to sponsor me from the US? So it's taking about 14 years right now. And that's in the Caribbean. If you're from Mexico, it's up to 22 years. Stocky 95, if you're married to a green card holder, can you get a work permit? So it depends on what process you're going through. And now generally, if you're out of status, and you are married to a green card holder, you would not qualify for adjustment of status or the work permit. You would have to qualify for a type of application that allows you to get a work permit while the process is pending. Is that Joaquin? Hello, how's your day? Oh, thank you so much. It is going well, very well, thank you. Dang it, Dave. You are very sweet and helpful and caring. Thank you so much. Don't get caught up on names. Just the question is enough. Say some names are weird. We are. Yep, you're right. Golden Marie, thanks for not answering my question. I guess you're being sarcastic. I didn't see your question. So I just want to stop and explain something. Sometimes your questions don't come across for some reason. Sometimes if you get kicked out, your questions don't come across to me. So just retype your questions. What I see some people doing is they repeat the question over and over. If you want to do that a couple of times, and hopefully I'll get it. Heavenly Eyes Angel, what happened if my spouse passed away before I got my green card? So if your spouse passes away, there is a way to get humanitarian parole, but it depends on what stage of the process you are. I mean, humanitarian reinstatement, not parole. Humanitarian reinstatement allows someone to step in as your sponsor and then continue the process. But your petition would have had to be approved already before the death. Marta Sanel, so can my mother, I apply for her kids as a green card holder. Can my mother apply for her kids as a green card holder and update her application when she becomes a citizen? So yes, yeah, there is a way, but keep in mind those kids have to qualify first. So you want to be very careful with that. DanMe45, thank you. I appreciate you will work on my case. So go ahead, call me, schedule a consultation. We'll talk about your case, and yes, hopefully I'll be able to work with you. Khaleesi, good evening. Can a green card holder apply for a sister that is under 21? So green card holders can't apply for their siblings, unfortunately. How could I change my address because my lawyer gave her address 3 years ago and she's not in practice? So there is a way to do that through a form. So the AR11 form online, that's one way to do it. Although it depends on what kind of application as well. If you are applying for a VAWA application, then what you will need to do is you have to submit it in writing. Or if you have an attorney, have the attorney submit it. There is a special way to communicate with the VAWA unit, but lawyers are the ones that have that communication method, and so a new lawyer would be able to do that. Good evening. Can a green card holder apply for a sister? Oh, so I answered that. Anne Marie, how could I change my? So I answered that. Sujan Ahmed, how are you doing? I'm doing great. My question is, how long it takes to get green card through VAWA? So it depends on who you're qualifying through. So spouses, it usually takes about 2 to 2.5 years. It could go longer if you're for example, if you're the son or daughter of a green card holder, or if you are the son or daughter of a U.S. citizen. So it all depends. My case is being actively reviewed by the USCIS. How long does it take to get a response from them? So check which service center is currently reviewing your case, and if you can look at case processing times at uscis.gov, the same place that you check the status, and you can get an idea of the range of time. Joaquin, definitely go ahead and ask your question. Jeba, while I'm waiting for adjustment of status, is there any document I can file to get a work permit fast? Not fast. The average time is 6 to 8 months, and that's it. There's no. Now usually you can apply for to expedite the case, but it all depends on your circumstances. If you're having an emergency or really exceptional hardship, that may be a way. Otherwise, you'll have to wait the 6 to 8 months. So Marta Sanel, you're welcome. Can your siblings file for a green card for you if they are U.S. citizens? But keep in mind the process can be very long. Could I take appointment over the phone? How much I have to pay? So yes, I'm Nam Mariam. I do phone and video consultations for those clients who are not close to me, and the consultation fee is $150 for up to an hour. Now keep in mind that everyone who has done my consultation has talked about how much it is worth it, because it takes a big burden off of their shoulders, first of all, because they walk out knowing their options, knowing what they have to do, and they can walk out with me as their attorney should we both agree that they need the assistance. So Rachel Williams 1155, thanks for the follow. Do you help with deportation returns? So absolutely I do, but it depends on the reason. I have to do a consultation to first determine whether you qualify for, in some cases, a waiver to return after a deportation. Rachel Williams 1155, what happens if you marry a U.S. citizen but are no longer with them? So if you're no longer with them, then you would not qualify for the marriage-based if they haven't applied for your green card yet. Now, if your U.S. citizen spouse mistreated you, they were verbally, emotionally abusive, mentally, physically, sexually, then these could be a way for you to apply for the green card on your own, even if you're out of status. And you can get a work permit while you wait. So keep in mind that that could be a solution if that was a situation in your marriage. So Mikhail, can my grandmother file for me? I'm under 21. Unfortunately not. Jeba, Sandrine, thanks. Okay. Celeste Dulcine, hi. If you are waiting on your interview but you're getting threat in your country, what should you do? So if you are in the United States, so I don't know where you are, but if you're in the United States and you're still getting a threat from your country, I don't know if you're waiting for the asylum interview, but if you're in the United States, then you would be still away from danger, and it would be very unlikely that they would push up your interview date. However, if the situation is dangerous, it's getting very dangerous, then that could possibly be a basis to ask for further relief. So Celeste, if you know this is your situation, schedule a consultation. What do you do for a living? So I am an U.S. immigration attorney, and that's why I am here answering immigration questions. So Rachel Williams 1155, if someone marries for citizenship but is no longer with them, will they have to go back? So if someone marries for citizenship but is no longer with them, will they have to go back? So if they marry just for the permanent residence, that's the green card, then that would definitely be a type of fraud. It's called marriage fraud. It's not permitted, and it could definitely spell trouble for them. Anointed grade 1. When will you get your divorce certificate? After you've served your spouse through the sheriff. So it is quite a process. I'm not a family attorney. You'd have to talk to a family attorney, but it is a lengthy process, because then the next steps would be to go through court hearings and to get the judge to hear your case, and then issue a divorce decree. And so divorce can be lengthy, just depending on how the parties are agreeing. Can a sibling file for you? A U.S. citizen sibling can file for you. Liline 4. How long it take to get a green card from VAWA? So generally, average is about 2 to 2.5 years, but it could vary just depending on who the abusive green card holder or U.S. citizen is. Andrea, my case being actively reviewed, so I did respond to that. Celeste, if you are getting married, so let's see, I lost Celeste. Celeste, if you're getting threatened in your country but you're waiting on the interview, so I answered that already. Deportation return, do you help with that? Absolutely, I do. Schedule a consultation. Sexy girl 1980, I overstay my visa. My husband is a green card holder. Can he do anything for me? So he can file for your green card still, but you will have to apply for a waiver. And if that waiver, you can stay in the U.S. and apply for the waiver. It's like forgiveness for overstaying. If it's granted, you'd be able to complete the green card process in your home country and not worry about being stuck outside of the U.S. I'm in Haiti, but can't even go out because they are threatening me because of my business that I have. So Celeste Dulcine, I'm sorry about that. Now, since you're in Haiti, it's going to be a bit more complex, and you'll have to schedule a consultation. Mikhail, I live in a country and I'm scared for my life. Can I apply for an asylum? So there are ways to apply, but if you're outside of the country, then it is a little more complex, and then we'd have to look at the process, what's the situation in your country, and the process to be able to apply for asylum. Anointed grade 1, please read my question. So I believe I did already. So Miss Robbie Waters, so Devon Skeet, can an aunt file for a nephew over 21? So no. Rachel Williams, you're welcome. Z Milox, you are welcome. So waiting for the case status of my daughters, how will I reach with them? So, it all depends. If you need specific legal advice, schedule a consultation. You can always check your status on the USCIS.gov website. So Jamaica Devon, my cousin applied in January to renew his green card since January and only received an extension. So yes, extensions are, renewal of 10-year green cards are taking long. So the extension usually it goes for 12 months, and he can continue to get extensions as long as it takes, and as long as it's not denied. Ellie Chung 2, my boyfriend is in Haiti. I'm American. What can I do for him to come to the U.S.? So he will, in order for him to visit temporarily, he will have to show his strong ties to Haiti that he will return after getting the visa to visit the U.S. If you are thinking something more permanent, then you'd have to get married first or apply for him as a fiance. Sexy girl 1980, you have any idea how long will I take to get through? Unfortunately, not. Go to uscis.gov, look at the time range for your specific case. Stacy Boo, how long do you think a K1 visa in 2021? So I know that the K1s, they do take more than a year. So you'd have to be prepared for at least that long. So NKA, if you need my third time to get H1B and wasn't selected, what do I do? So unfortunately, that is the brutal case with the H1B lottery system. If you're not selected, then there's not much that you would be able to do in the case of going further in the process with the H1B. Jeba, my husband, and I have the SS genotype. Can I file for a divorce based on that? So I'm not a divorce attorney. You will need to speak to a family attorney to determine that. Liline, you're welcome. Why can't grandparents file for grandchildren? That is definitely a great question, and I'm with you on that. They just did not put that as part of the... So hang tight, everyone, as I go through your questions. Does a current petition in the system affect your ability to get a visitor's visa? Yes, it may, because it's showing that you have immigrant intent. You'll have to come really good with evidence to show that you will return despite a green card application pending. Jeff Jabba, thank you. Chef Jabba, thanks for the follow. Sexy Girl 1980, you're welcome. My N400 is administratively closed because I missed my interview in 2019. What do I do? So in this case, while I don't know what your situation is, Jeff Jabba, then the easiest thing would be just to reapply, because you wouldn't be able to submit an appeal because that was way in 2019. What's the cost for a consultation? So it's $150, and for that $150, we sit down for an hour, evaluate your facts, make sure you are aware of your options, you're aware of the process based on your particular facts. So you walk out knowing your rights, knowing your options, and with me as your attorney, should we both determine you need it. Bad Gal Twinkle, I like that name. Citizenship, so I've a green card. I have a green card. How long will it take when I file for my husband? We're already married, 20 and 26. So it's prepare for about an 18-month process, whether you're doing it in abroad at the U.S. Embassy or you're doing it in the U.S. So Glenda, hi there. Jamaican Brogard, what timelines to expect? Married to a citizen 2 months ago. Now back in the States, about to apply for green card. What timelines expect about an 18-month to 2-year process. Could be less, could be more. Just make sure that the application is good, because the type of application, if you put in an application and it doesn't have all the required documents, doesn't have all the required evidence, it can cause a delay in the application process. So Jamaican Brogard, can't stress enough, get legal advice. Schedule a consultation. That's what I'm here for. Let's talk about it, and I can help you through that process. Bad Gal Twinkle, if I came to the U.S. under the age of 18 and my mother wasn't aware of me being eligible for, so I missed the rest of it. But right now it depends on when you came in. So you came in under the age of 18, there may be different forms of relief. But if your mom wasn't aware of you being eligible for, and I'm not sure what that is, so can you go ahead and retype that? But there may be relief for you, just depending on when you came into the country. Mikia, Tam, thanks for the follow. Mikia, why is service center office different on the receipt and on checking status? So it just, with the receipt notice, it's very general, whereas the online status is more specific to your case. Kenna Dodd, where are you located? So I'm located in Boca Raton, Florida. I also do physical meetings with my clients and prospective clients in downtown Fort Lauderdale, but keep in mind I represent clients in all 50 states and globally. So you can still schedule a consultation. I do phone and video consultations for those who are not close to me. Ellie Chung, you're welcome. Marcia Russell, thanks for sharing. Dharma Mafia, what is the time frame in NYC for marriage based to a citizen green card? So the best thing you can do is if you go to uscis.gov and you go to case processing times, then you can see the timeline that they're taking right now. Fusiana 80, if someone is Haitian but naturalized to Chile, can he apply for TPS? So if you have citizenship in Haiti, then it is still possible to qualify for TPS. Now, if you're naturalized to Chile, and that means that you gave up your citizenship in Haiti and you didn't last reside in Haiti, then there could be an issue there. So get legal advice, get help, Fusiana, to make sure you're doing it right. Because it all depends. You're Haitian, but then I noticed you said naturalized to Chile, which implies then that if you naturalized, could you have given up your citizenship to Haiti? Tina Alexis, I applied for my husband to get a green card, but my priority date was on September. What should I do? So I applied to get a green card, but my priority date was on September. So I'm not sure what that means. So I applied for my husband to get a green card, but my priority date was on September. Tina, Lexis, it sounds like you're concerned about something here, but it also seems a little more complex than I'm going to advise here, because you're saying that there was a priority date, but if you're applying for your husband, then you should not have a priority date, because you should be a U.S. citizen or a green card holder. So you can clarify here and let me know. Dark Lurker 2020, who can get a green card for a job coming from the Bahamas? So it depends on who is applying for you. So anybody who the employer is willing to apply, and it depends on the type of employment-based green cards, your qualifications, and whether you meet the requirements. What's the qualifications for starting a business in the U.S.? So you may have seen that video about the E2 visa. So in order to qualify for the E2 visa, you'll have to be the citizen of an E2 country, and then you'll have to show that you have substantial investment, that you have already invested or you're currently investing in a business in the United States. And there are different ways to show that you're currently investing in a business in the United States. And keep in mind, the substantial investment doesn't mean millions of dollars. It means that you have sufficient amount of funds to run a successful business. So Apple S, I recently got married, but my green card papers is processing. Will my marriage affect this? It could. So it could absolutely affect it, because if you got married, first of all, if you're under 21 and you're being sponsored by a U.S. citizen parent and you got married, you wouldn't qualify. You would be bumped down to the married child of a U.S. citizen, which that process is taking about 12 years. If you're being sponsored by a green card holder, you're no longer qualify as a son or daughter of a green card holder. If you applied as a son or daughter over 21 and unmarried, that would kick you out of that category as well, and you would be going through a longer process. So definitely get legal advice as to what you can do. Melinda, Lorena, can someone apply citizenship with no longer with their spouse and been here for 5 years? So if you stayed with your U.S. citizen spouse for 3 years and you obtain the green card through that U.S. citizen spouse, then you can get it within the 3-year period. However, if you divorce that spouse before you hit 3 years of living together in marital union, then you would have to wait for the 5 years. And you can apply. So you've been with citizenship with no longer with their spouse and been here for 5 years. So if you've been here for 5 years, then it's likely you can apply for citizenship if you have your green card. if you've had your green card for 5 years, I should say. How long does it take to get a social security after start filing? So the same as a work permit, about 6 to 8 months. Fushiana 80, you're welcome. How much time does it take for an extraordinary ability visa or green card? So right now, most countries except for some are current, and so you could be looking at an 18-month to 2-year process. So Bad Gal Twinkle, or can I do both at the same time? Do I have to complete the N400 before I start filing for him? I came here at 17, or can I do both at the same time? So while I don't know your circumstances, I'm going to give you general information. You would be able to apply as a green card holder, and then as soon as you become a citizen, you can upgrade it, change it, and then your spouse would become the spouse of a U.S. citizen, and then you can continue on that process. So Mikia03, hang on, which service office is processing the IOE? So you would have to check on that at this time. I would have to check. So go to USCIS, and I'm pretty sure that information is somewhere there. Floki, follow the host. Thank you. Zahara 18, can my brother apply for a green card after being here for 2 years as a visitor? No, he wouldn't qualify just by being here for 2 years. Top Gal, so can a green card holder help their husband that have a work permit? So a green card holder can apply for their husband to get permanent residence themselves, but the way you're going to do it depends on what your circumstances are. So you said your husband has a work permit. We'd have to figure out if he can maintain his legal status for the entire time that the process will be pending. Now, his work permit wouldn't necessarily give him legal status to stay here, but if he has any other type of visa, like an H-1B or any other type of employment-based visa or student visa, that could be a way for him to stay in the U.S. and adjust status. I was to come to the U.S. and work, but I don't know how to go about that. I live in Jamaica. So the first thing you'd have to do is find the employer who's willing to sponsor you for that visa. Let's see, Nikki, documents, but you received an email that you need to reschedule appointment for another interview. What could be the reason? It could be a number of reasons. I don't know what your circumstances are, but maybe something came up at the office that they had to cancel. Farah Casanova, I'm from Belize. I want to go work in the U.S. What do I need and what's the process? The first thing you have to do is find an employer who's willing to sponsor you. You'd have to make sure you qualify for the specific employment-based visa. So Tina Alexis, let's see. So I'm a green card holder, but he's living in California. So it's your process is going to depend on what his situation is as well. What if you are a student who applied for J1, but you received a pink slip to add the missing? So in that case, if they're asking for additional information, but you received an email that you... So in this case, Nikki MC 28, you'd have to schedule a consultation because it's far too detailed for me to advise on what to do without knowing any of your facts. So Bonita Wing, thanks for sharing the live. Farah Casanova, you're welcome. Top Gal, you're welcome. How long does it take to get an interview for an embassy of Jamaica after marriage to a U.S. citizen? So it varies, but I would say prepare for, it could be a year to 18 months. At this time, COVID has really put a damper on processing times. So you're also going to see a delay there. Bad Gal Twinkle, you're welcome. So O'Shane, how do I get a work permit to the U.S.? You'd have to find an employer or apply for a type of application or immigration benefit that allows you to get a work permit. Another question, will it be easy? How long does it take? So Farah, I'm sorry. So it depends on how easy it is to find the employer. That's the most challenging part. So thank you everyone for your questions. I am going to log out now, and I am here every day. So if you have a question, I didn't get to your question, go ahead and follow me. As soon as you see me go live, go ahead and drop your questions in the comments right away, and I will be able to answer your questions. So thank you, everyone. If you would like to schedule a consultation, then what you can do is go to the link in my bio. And when you go to the link, it will take you to the website where you'll have all the information you need. Also, I'll say my number here so you can write it down quickly. But if you miss it, check out my videos. My number is plastered all over my videos. And once again, go to the link in my bio. You'll get all the information there. Dwayne, you're welcome. My number is 561-405-4889. Melly, what are the public benefits I won't be able to get from government if I needed a co-sponsor? So generally speaking, it first of all, even if you applied through the state, you wouldn't qualify for most of the benefits anyway, unless, of course, you did it through fraud, which would definitely be a big, bad thing to do. However, generally benefits would be that you wouldn't usually qualify for with a sponsor would be Medicaid. Emergency Medicaid is an exception, but generally Medicaid, housing assistance, with some exceptions. For example, if you're a refugee, if you are an abused immigrant, then there are benefits available. However, in any other case, then, Medicaid, housing assistance, food assistance would not be benefits. However, if you have a U.S. citizen child, that child can still qualify for benefits. So thanks, everyone. Catch me again tomorrow. So does emergency Medicaid cover pregnancy? While I'm not a Medicaid attorney, I do have some general knowledge about that, and I believe it does. So what you do is you would have to submit the application. Just don't claim U.S. citizenship if you're not a U.S. citizen. And, if you're going to apply, be truthful on your application, because if you're not, it could affect it. And the worst that could happen is that you get denied, as long as you're honest and you don't commit any kind of fraud to get the benefits. Choose to be wealthy. How can someone contact me? Call me at 561-405-4889. At this time, you're going to get the after hours receptionist. However, on the next business day, the scheduling coordinator will get in touch with you and schedule a consultation. All right. Thank you, everyone. I'll catch you again tomorrow. Bye. Again, so 561-405-4889. You'll get the after hours receptionist. If you would like to get assistance, you can call between 8:30 and 6:30, or you can also go to the website. If you go to the website, the link is in my bio. You can choose to be wealthy. The link is in my bio. So if you go to that link in my bio, you can fill out the web form. And the web form will give us your contact information, and then we will contact you. All right. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.